Hey everyone, it's Karen. So I was tagged in my first tag. This is by Jason at Byways in Bookland, and I'll link him below. And it's called the Supermarket Shopping Book Tag. So I'm going to be looking at my computer from time to time for the questions. Number 1, list. Do you have a list when you are going book shopping? So if I buy them online, I don't really necessarily know that I have a list because I just put them in my cart. But yes, I have a plan for what I want. I find it very hard to browse online. When I go to a bookstore in person, I prefer just to browse. So I find that I discover all sorts of cool books when I go to a bookstore without a list. And one example of that is this book, which I found, and it's called The Events of October: Murder Suicide in a Small Campus. So this actually took place in the same town that I went to college, and it's a true crime story of a murder suicide that happened at Kalamazoo College. Super interesting, and brings a lot of more feminist questions and topics into this, and I would not have discovered it had I not been browsing. Question 2, fruit and veg. Books that are good for the body and good for the mind. So one book that is good for my body is The 12-Week Year. I read this several years ago, and I have implemented it ever since. Basically, instead of creating a goal that you're going to have for the entire calendar year, you break the year into quarters. So you have 12 weeks where you work on some goals, and it's all about setting very, very small habits. I actually just started a 12-week year again today. And for exercise, for example, my goal is just to get outside 30 minutes a day. Well, that's so easy, but every day I check and see, did I do it? Did I do it? Yes, I give myself points every day. And then the next week I up it. And so you're working on these tiny, tiny skills that in the end, when you combine them all together, they change your life. And so I've used this, and I've lost a lot of weight in the past. I'm up again because of COVID, but it's very helpful for me to think about these tiny choices. And when you focus on what's right in front of you, you can make huge changes without realizing it. The other book I do not have a copy of, but I will link it below. I believe it's by Kristen Neff. It's on self-compassion, and it just really took me beyond self-esteem to really just be compassionate towards myself. And she has a lot of good tips on connecting to others and realizing that other people have dealt with similar situations to what you've done with, being mindful, staying in the moment, recognizing how you're feeling. Amazing book on self-compassion. Question 3 is tinned goods. So it says, regardless of the label on the can, the contents are often too bland. So a genre that for you can be kind of bland. And for me, even though I just mentioned a few self-help books, I would say it's kind of the self-help genre. I feel like many of those would be excellent essays, and they draw it out for an entire book, wasting my reading time with all these examples and different experience of people and metaphors, and just give me a plan. In an essay, in an article, I do not need to read the whole book. One example of that, which I will link below, is The Miracle Morning. I follow The Miracle Morning. I love The Miracle Morning, but I do not need to read an entire book on it. That is too much. And my other example, wait for a freak out, because I did not like this book, and everyone else in the entire world loves it. Untamed. Don't hate me. So I disliked Untamed. I felt that she wanted to be quoted, and this whole book is just quote, 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 quote. She just wanted to sound cool as opposed to actually sharing good content. Yeah, I just feel that she's very attention seeking, and I was not a fan, although she's a good person. She's trying. Question 4, meat and fish counter. Prepared by a skilled butcher, fishmonger, just how you want it. Tell us about a book that was made just for you. So as a vegetarian, let's pretend that this is the salad bar or something, but a book that was made just for me, just the way I want it. I Miss You When I Blink by Mary Laura Philpott. Love this book. It actually encouraged me to follow my gut and change to a different job when it was time. One of my favorite parts talks about how you can be grateful from where you came from, but it's time to move. You have to move. You know, be good with it. Question number 5, baked goods. Bread is a staple around the world. Who is an author you can easily read at any time? Barbara Kingsolver. Her voice is so soothing to me in writing and in real life. If I'm stressed, it calms me down. She has fiction, she has nonfiction. If you're feeling really tired and not able to concentrate on a book, you could listen to an audiobook of hers. Oh, but I love her. No matter what my mood is, I love Barbara Kingsolver. Number 6, chilled section. Recommend a cool new book or author you recently discovered. So I really enjoyed this book, All Adults Here by Emma Straub. I don't know that I've only read one book by her, but I do like this one a lot. I thought it was smart, funny, and it dealt with so many important themes that we need to talk about, but in a light way. Number 7, Frozen section. Talk about a book that gave you the shivers. So I will make a video about this in the future, but my reading tastes have changed a lot in the past 10 years or so. So I'm sharing a book I read a long time ago. I'm not sure if I reread it, if I would love it just as much, but The Fate of Mercy Albin, this book was so scary to me. Like, it was one I wanted to stick in the freezer like Joey did on Friends. It's ghost story, and yes, I really liked it. Number 8, beer, wine, and spirits. Name one of the first books that made you feel like an adult. So I don't remember the first adult book I read, but one of them that I read fairly early, The Thornbirds. This book is amazing. Loved it. I actually want to reread it because it's been so long since I have read it, but it's pretty thick for me to read as a younger person. And the content, obviously, oh, it smells just kind of old. The content is more adult. And so, yes, this is kind of a classic. Number 10, magazine stand. To talk about some magazines you read. So I read a lot of journals and things for work. I actually have probably like 2 or 3 years of journals that I need to actually read because I'm behind. But one of the magazines I love to read for fun is the Smithsonian. And this magazine is hilarious to me because my friends tease me all the time about how I am so good at making friends with old people. And this is a magazine I love. And if you look inside of it, I should have marked a page, but there's like ads for like hearing aids and canes and stuff that like, this is not a magazine aimed at my age group, but I love it. I think it's so interesting, so well written, and I just like learning new things from it. Number 11, check out, tag people that you think should do this as well. First of all, I should say that I tag anyone who is interested in doing this. But specifically, I will tag Jason at Old Blues Chapter and Verse, Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading, and Britta Bowler, who I'm not sure if she watches my channel, but she's one of my favorite people to watch on YouTube, and so I tag her as well. That is it. I'm curious what you would say if you were going to do this tag, and if I did not tag you and you want to do it, you still should. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.